So starting over here, test the tension of the shuttle thread by drawing it towards the round end of the shuttle. All right, round end. That's the shuttle. This is the little bobbin that goes in it. I do believe I may have ordered new bobbins, replacement ones, because the ones I had were bent, as was kind of this side of the bobbin, or the shuttle, like that was kind of bent. I'm probably going to get the Dremel tool out here in a little bit and just kind of clean that up. If it draws as tightly as it will bear without breaking, it is right for fabrics of firm texture. Thin, soft fabrics require less tension. To obtain more or less tension, pass the thread through more or less holes. Okay, this is how you set the tension for this crazy thing. These holes is what they're talking about in the shuttle. You first pass the thread through this side of the shuttle. You pass it in through the inside outward, through the bottom slit, and through the top slit, and then over across the top of the bobbin, and then thread through here for the tension. I have not had luck with this. And apparently the screw for the tension, which is this little piece here in the front, because that's where the little bobbin goes, and there's a little spring in there. Apparently this is where the screw for that is, in that hole there. Do not do what I did and try to think that there's a screw on this leaf spring, because I chipped a little piece of that off. You definitely don't want that. That is probably welded in place, or not welded, what do you call it, soldered. It's probably soldered in place. So don't do that, because these are $40 to $80 a piece to replace. Unless you know how to solder, I guess. Which I have a soldering iron. I do not know how to use it. All right, let's move forward. Sorry about all that jibber jabber. The tension of the needle thread is regulated by turning the tension screw, which that's the screw that goes here when I get that back together. To test the tension, draw the thread downward from the check lever, turning the screw to the right, because it's not a dial. In essence, all of your newer model machines have the dials with the 1, 2, 3, 4 tension on there. Same concept. It's basically a screw that tightens and loosens, right? And that's what this is. It just doesn't have, it does not have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a long screw, and the pointed end of it will, let me turn the light on here. The pointed end of that, or maybe it's not pointed. Anyway, the screw will press down on this piece, which, where that little end of this wrench thing is, that's where your tension discs are. All right. All right. So that's your setup. You don't have 1, 2, 3. You have, I've been working 6 hours on this to try to get this done. So turn it to the right until the thread draws as tightly as it will bear without breaking. For thin, soft fabrics, less tension is required. That's all you get. So, you check back here the thread lever, which is probably, this. So, this, your thread lever. And pretty much this screw is what holds that in. This is a screw. It goes all the way through here. And it has a spring in it, this is what this is tightened with. I think I have it on the loosest setting. When I bought this machine, I did not even see these 3 holes, or like really this little spring piece. I saw this, and it was all just covered with just gunk. Okay, schmoo, as Bob Fowler likes to call it. It's covered in schmoo. All right, turn the flash on. So you can see these 3 little holes, and it took me a good while to get these even cleared. I didn't even know they were there until you watch videos from other people. Alex, what's his name? Ashcroft Alex. I'll try to get some of this stuff together, and if I post these on YouTube, I'll try to post like all of my little reference things. All right. So like I said, I mean, that's all you get. You get 2 little paragraphs on how to figure this out. So here's something else about the slack thread pin presses down on the check lever. It is adjusted properly for all classes of general sewing and should never be altered unless the thread breaks in sewing very thick cloth. Okay, I'm having this issue. Then loosen the screw 14 and slightly lower the slack thread pin. It's 13 and 14. Let's see what this is. 13 and 14. I don't even see a 13 and 14 on this diagram. Okay, right here. So that's probably these. It's probably talking about these. 13 and 14. So I guess once you set it in place, don't screw with it. So I screwed with it because I took it apart because it needed cleaning inside. This whole inside, you could not really, it was gunk. It was just gunky, right? Now, this machine, it was being used, so it's not nearly as bad as my mother of pearl machine I had. That machine, sorry this video is a little bit longer. That machine was horrible. It did not have, let me cover up my thing. It did not have the coffin lid on it, right? The girl who I bought it from in her mid-20s found it in her barn. And her parents were an antique collector. And trust me, I paid a pretty penny for that machine. Luckily, I was able to sell it and recoup a little bit. So, there's the lever. You can see kind of the screw in there holding that. Right, I couldn't see any of that before. Anywho, all right, let's get her done. See what we're working with.